everyone, I'm so excited to do this video. It's a little bit different to my usual content in the sense that I have never tried to replicate a color because I don't see a need in it. So if I like a color or I find it interesting, then I'll just go and buy it by that brand. I really never felt any sort of interest in recreating it so that I could have my own version of it. However, what happened the other day was something really interesting and kind of mind-blowing for me personally, and I contemplated whether I should share it with you or not. Having kind of spoken about it to a friend, hey friend if you're watching, she thought it'd be a great idea to share it. So I decided to share it because maybe some of you might find it interesting or inspiring. In no way am I saying that, here you go, you don't need to buy the original paints, you can mix them yourselves. But I just thought I'll show you kind of my own versions that happened totally by accident. And you can actually see this is where it all happened. So just to give you a little bit of background information, I was putting together my autumn palette, which is this one. You can see there's still 2 colors to be picked for it. And as I was filling it up, I thought to mix up my own mix from existing colors that I have and create like a moody, muted, maybe granulating green. That's what I wanted to do. For it, I decided to pick the Hooker's Green, which is a color I bought a while ago, but I haven't been really using it too much, and I decided to utilize it for this instance. So this is a Daniel Smith. From there, I decided to mute it down a little bit with a burnt sienna. And then I decided to make it granulating. And to do that, I just simply added the granulating medium. So these 3 products, in a way, items, have created this color. Now, if you look at it, does it remind you of anything? Here it is swatched out in sort of different ways, but let me just give you a little close up. So let's bring it in. Does this remind you of anything particular? So let's see, I'll show you the color that it reminds me of. And you can be the judge of how close it is to that color. Okay, so here is the color that it reminds me of. This is the Green Apatite Genuine. And here is also Green Apatite Genuine. So would you say that these colors look fairly similar? To me they do. They're obviously not identical because I didn't use everything Daniel Smith. I used 3 different brands, Daniel Smith, Rembrandt and Winsor & Newton. So obviously it's not going to be identical, but it is incredibly similar. So let's also look at this one. This one is more granulated swatch. And so from that point, I decided that that's not the color I had in mind. Green Apatite Genuine is not my favorite green at all. So I wanted to deviate from that, and I thought, what if I add a little bit of like a lighter green, like a green that has a lot of yellow in there? Is it going to be something interesting? So I went ahead and I added 4th brand to the mix, and that's the Mission Gold Leaf Green. This leaf green has a number of pigments in there, which is actually 2 pigments. It's got PY3, PJ7. So at this point we have quite a concoction of things. Actually, let me check out the other 2. So this one is PBR7, so it's a single pigment, and Hooker's Green. Oh dear. That's PG36, PY3, PO48, PY150. So at this point we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a concoction of 7 pigments. And this is what I get. Now to me, this is like so close, if not identical to, let me give you a close-up and try and guess what color I have in mind. Serpentine green, you got it. So let's look at serpentine green. How close is that? Now, that I'm pretty proud to say that could easily be mistaken for serpentine green. Like even if you mix them or swatch them next to each other. I have another serpentine green swatched here on this paper, which all of them seem to be a lot more granulating on this particular page, which is what I said to you before. The paper is quite inconsistent, but even so, if you look at it, here we go. This is superbly similar. So what I thought, I'll just show you how I have created my own versions of Apatite Green Genuine and Serpentine Genuine, keeping in mind those two colors are meant to be dug up from the ground and made with real stones. So what I'm hiding here is a recipe for this color. Now I'll let you guess what this one reminds me of, and or shall I tell you? Actually, let me show you again on the swatch. So this one is very similar to the color I have in mind, but I actually prefer my own because it has more warmth. So this color here, Lunar Blue, it has more of a cool tone. This one has more of a warm tone, but fairly similar as well, let's say. So that is coming in the next video, or in a separate video rather. And this is a color I absolutely love a mix of, and I would definitely remix these. These I wouldn't remix just because, you know, there is no need. I have the real thing in the real tubes. But I thought it's just very, very interesting how literally in one go I got to this color and that color, which reminded me straight away on Green Apatite Genuine and Serpentine Genuine. Okay, so let's get into it. What you're seeing on this page I can't show you yet. It's basically a little play of what I've been mixing for my spring palette. Okay, so what you will need for that is a palette of any sort, any type. You'll need a brush, obviously, some jug of water. You'll need a pipette to use it with this granulating medium. I think it's a shame that they didn't include a pipette, like, you know, something like this, obviously, in the bottle, so that you had to go and source your own, but luckily I had some. And the colors you will need is, well, the colors that I'm using, you can try, you know, with the same or similar colors that you have in your own stash. But the idea here is to use this green, which is basically this color here. I don't know sort of what other colors would be a similar mix or similar thing. This color has, it's a beautiful yellow green, like it's super, you know, vibrant. So you could maybe substitute it with the green gold and mix in a bit of more gold, like a yellow color into that. And then we have burnt sienna. Okay, so burnt sienna obviously across all ranges would be similar. Now, I didn't try, like I said, I didn't work hard on this at all, but now I have to think of it, of course, to try and replicate. So let me swatch out the real things here first. I'll go and find the tubes, and then I'll do the mixes next to it. Alright, so Green Apatite Genuine we have here. So this color needs some time to start granulating and doing its magic. So we just let it be. And then in here I'm going to start mixing my own thing. So I've got Hooker's Green. I've got Rembrandt, which I'm going to squeeze out here. I don't remember how much I used, so I'm going to just add a little bit at a time. So if I just again swatch it out on its own, you can see it's a very unnatural green. And then let's just take about this amount. And then we need to just make it a bit creamy. But here is the secret to my recipe. Don't add too much water at all, because your water is going to be the granulating medium. You need a lot of it. So this has turned it down or toned it down a little bit, but I will need a bit more. So I'd say about here. Let's just swatch it out. I would say maybe even a little bit more. No, it's actually a good close match. So you can see already tone-wise we're there. Now, how do we make it to that sort of granulation level? What you will need for that is your granulating medium. This has been recommended by Irid. I have been looking at this granulation. So I've got 1 milliliter. Let's start with 1, but it will actually need quite a bit more from my experimentation. So just mix it. Don't add any more water to this. What you will start seeing is a bit of separation like that, but I don't see it yet, so I'm going to add more. Yes, so Irid has recommended it, and thanks for recommending, because I have been wanting to invest into one. I say invest, but they're not expensive at all, these granulating mediums, and I didn't know which one to get, so I was happy that Irid recommended this one here by Winsor & Newton, and so I went for it. Now you see, now it's doing it. Can you see there's a bit of separation? So let's try it now. It's a bit watery, as obviously we had to add a lot of the separation or the granulation medium, but let's see what happens anyway. This is quite unpredictable, you never know what's going to happen, and I might want to just tweak it a little bit and add a bit more. I'm going to go for the whole thing. What I'm looking for is for the particles, like here in the tray you can see they started to separate. So let's see. Now that's doing it now. So basically you need more of the burnt sienna for it to start doing that. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of it into here, and then top it up a little bit with that green, because now it's gone too much into burnt sienna. So just tweaking it. When I did it originally, I didn't need to tweak anything, it just happened in one go, which is why it was like so surprising to me. So if you want to create that strong granulation, you do need a lot of this medium, and the downside to it, it's going to water it out. It almost becomes like ink texture. So I'd say this is fairly close now. Yeah. It's thereabout. I mean, it's on the camera, it's not as close as it looks in real life, but that's fine. We're not trying here to create an identical version, but rather a... So let's just take it out and see what happens here. Just like our own version of it, really. So that's good. Just make sure you mix it up nicely. I think this was a good color here, right there. Maybe just tiniest little bit of burnt sienna. Need to be really careful with this, not to overdo it, because otherwise it will go again into the brown. But I just want to warm it up ever so slightly. Okay. Let's see now. Yeah, I think this is a good mix now. Okay, so let's play. So I'm going to give it a good mix right here. And then let's just play around. There you go, so you're getting this granulation now. Obviously not as strong, but fairly similar, I'd say. You can see now how the particles of burnt sienna have separated. Really interesting. And also it seems that the more you let it sit a little bit, like not talking too long, but a bit of a time, the more it starts to granulate. So give it a bit of a time. And I'll show you in my palette the separation here of the pigment. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. I mean, next to each other you can see the granulation is different. We've got larger areas here. Here are sort of clusters of small particles. But color-wise, tone-wise, it's really, really similar. So let's just try a lighter mix, maybe here. See if that still granulates. Okay,